Baba.
Would anyone else like to do a check-in before we get started? All right, we're gonna jump in, and we'll have about 10 minutes at the end for some Q&A and comments. So otherwise, just just mute your mic. And we have two people who would like to read, and I'm so happy about that. One is Ferishte, who's done some fabulous translations of Hafez, which we're hoping to have her read for us one evening. And we have Telly Limbach, who has set some of the devotional poetry of Tagore to music, and we're so looking forward to hearing you sing that. I did not know a lot about Tagore, but I heard a really interesting story about Tagore and Meher Baba, and I heard it from Jeff Wolverton, who I think is a reliable source, and he said to me that somebody asked Tagore, who is Meher Baba? And Tagore answered, I am Tagore, but Meher Baba is Thakur. And Thakur is a word in Bengali for Krishna. Thakur, Thakur. So, and Lindsay just shared with us, that there was some correspondence between them, which I'm gonna dig into and find out about that. But I'm gonna just read a little bit about the life of Tagore, and then we're gonna actually listen to his poetry. Some of his poetry was about his grief for his wife and his son who both died. And some of it was about his devotional poetry to God, which we're going to focus on. And he wrote short stories as well, and was considered an essayist and a playwright. So he was quite prolific in writing. But just before he died, he said, there are many things about my life I cannot say to be true, but the one thing I can say about my life is that I was a poet. So I think it was the writing of his that he really felt the most deeply about. Tagore was born in Calcutta in 1861, and he died in 1941. He apparently did not like school and left at a very early age, and just was really not a fan of rules and regulations. And he really introduced colloquial language into Bengali literature, which had priorly been based on Sanskrit. So it was a big influence, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for the Jali, which I might not be saying correctly, but it was his devotional poetry, and he was the first non-Westerner to win that prize. Tagore was asked when he was married to manage his family estate, which he did, but when he was doing this work, which he did not really want to do, he found himself spending quite a bit of time with the local impoverished people that he really developed an affinity for, and found that he was very drawn to a very simple life, and ended up in his later years founding a university. He actually founded a school. It was called the Abode of Peace, and it was based on the ashram model. And it was a outdoor school, open air school, and it was an experiential school. And it later became a very famous university called Visva Bharati University. And the Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, was a pupil there, as it also had a pupil who later went on to win the Nobel Prize in literature. And this is an interesting thing that I read about Tagore, that he really believed in Gandhi's freedom for struggle, and it was Tagore who gave Gandhi the title Mahatma, meaning great soul. And in a speech honoring Gandhi, Tagore said, "So disintegrated and demoralized were our people that many wondered if India could ever rise again by the genius of her own people, until there came on the scene, a truly great soul, a great leader of man in line with the tradition of the great sages of old. And as we know, Gandhi wanted to become a disciple of Meher Baba, and I'm sure most of you know the story, but just to share it for those of you who don't know, that Gandhi and Meher Baba met on a cruise liner and spent many days together. And Gandhi later wrote to him and said, I want to become your disciple. And Meher Baba said to him, if you want to be my disciple, you must come to me instantly. And Gandhi wrote back to say, there are a few things I need to take care of. I will come as soon as I can. And he was murdered 10 days later. So there's this interesting lineage there we have. One of the things that I was impressed upon by Tagore is that he was especially drawn to Gandhi's emphasis on nonviolence. And he was considered a nationalist, Tagore. He was very much a proponent of India getting its independence from Britain. But when those demonstrations became violent, he pulled away and said he refused to have anything to do with them because he was so convinced that nonviolence was really the answer to all of the ways of winning freedom. So that's just a little bit about his life. And would anybody like to add anything that they're familiar with about Tagore that you think might be good to share? I'm really not a scholar in Tagore, so I'm so happy for you all to add something into that if you would like before we begin reading his poetry.
I was quite impressed that he was not only a poet, but he wrote plays. He was a playwright.
Yeah.
He was an artist.
Yes.
And of fine arts. He also met a lot of the greats like Einstein.
Yes.
I'll quit there. Go ahead, Jack.
If I'd make a winning bet if one of his former lifetimes, his name was Leonard Vincent. And I don't speak Italian, but I think you know what I mean. He's a master of at least 8 or 9 disciplines. And I was telling Marge earlier today, the measure of the man was when he handed back his Nobel Prize after the Amritsar massacre by the British, and just got out of this. I guess, feeling people probably have when they get too popular.
He actually gave back his knighthood. It wasn't his Nobel Prize, it was his knighthood. And he gave it back because the British massacred over 400 people from India, and it was his way of protesting it. But yes, that was pretty amazing, wasn't it? That he was willing to release his knighthood because of his wanting to stand up against nonviolence.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, his Nobel Prize was stolen in 2004, according to Wikipedia.
What do you mean stolen?
Yeah, it was stolen out of the vault.
Really?
You can read in Wikipedia and look it up.
Wow. Oh gosh. What would you do with it? Wow.
Another vault.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
He also apparently set his poetry to music, and his songs are still very popular and are being sung throughout India, particularly in Calcutta.
Thank you. Tracey, would you like to start us out with some poetry?
Mais oui, of Tagore. In the deep shadows of the rainy July, with secret steps. Can I switch the word thou to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In the deep shadows of the rainy July, with secret steps, you walk silent at night, eluding all watchers. Today, the morning has closed its eyes, heedless of the insistent calls of the loud east wind and a thick veil has been drawn over the ever-wakeful blue sky. The woodlands have hushed their songs, and doors are all shut at every house. You are the solitary wayfarer in this deserted street. Oh, my only friend, my best beloved, the gates are open in my house. Do not pass by like a dream.
Mm.
Then number 40 here. The rain has held back for days and days, my God, in my arid heart. The horizon is fiercely naked, not the thinnest cover of a soft cloud, not the vaguest hint of a distant cool shower. Send your angry storm dark with death, if it is your wish, and with lashes of lightning startle the sky from end to end. But call back, my Lord, call back this pervading silent heat, still and keen and cruel, burning the heart with dire despair. Let the cloud of grace bend low from above like the tearful look of the mother on the day of the father's wrath. How many would you like me to read?
As many as you will give us, my friend.
Oh, beautiful. This is a feast for the heart.
Yes.
This is my delight, thus to wait and watch at the wayside where shadow chases light and the rain comes in the wake of the summer. Messengers with tidings from unknown skies greet me and speed along the road. My heart is glad within, and the breath of the passing breeze is sweet. From dawn till dusk, I sit here before my door, and I know that of a sudden the happy moment will arrive when I shall see. In the meanwhile, I smile and I sing all alone. In the meanwhile, the air is filling with the perfume of promise.
Beautiful.
That's just gorgeous. Here we go. I think you'll recognize this. Have you not heard his silent steps? He comes, comes, ever comes. Every moment and every age, every day and every night, he comes, comes, ever comes. Many a song have I sung in many a mood of mind, but all their notes have always proclaimed, he comes, comes, ever comes. In the fragrant days of sunny April, through the forest path, he comes, comes, ever comes. In the rainy gloom of July nights, on the thundering chariot of clouds, he comes, comes, ever comes. In sorrow after sorrow, it is his steps that press upon my heart, and it is the golden touch of his feet that makes my joy to shine.
Mm.
I think I'll stop there. Our buddy, Sufi buddy, what's his name? Help me. He took this and made it into a beautiful song.
Oh.
Come on, help me out, guys. Huh?
Misha Rutenberg.
Misha Rutenberg, yes.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, you got to listen to that song. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if we have time, I'll play it at the end.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's plan on it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for reading.
This poetry you're doing?
Fantastic.
I enjoyed it.
Telly, would you like to go next and sing some of the work that you set to music?
Okay. So it was from this book, and I'll read or sing. First, I'll do the second one. When thou commandest me to sing, it seems that my heart would break with pride, and I look to thy face, and tears come to my eyes. All that is harsh and dissonant in my life melts into one sweet harmony, and my adoration spreads wings like a glad bird on its flight across the sea. I know thou takest pleasure in my singing. I know that only as a singer I come before thy presence. I touch by the edge of the far-spreading wing of my song, thy feet, which I could never aspire to reach. Drunk with the joy of singing, I forget myself and call thee friend, who art my Lord.
Mm.
So also sing number 13. Let's see. The song that I came to sing remains unsung to this day. I have spent my days in stringing and in unstringing my instrument. The time has not come true. The words have not been rightly said. Only there is the agony of wishing in my heart. The blossom has not opened, only the wind is sighing by. I have not seen his face, nor have I listened to his voice. Only I have heard his gentle footsteps from the road before my house. The livelong day has passed in spreading his seed on the floor, but the lamp has not been lit, and I cannot ask him into my house. I live in the hope of meeting with him, but this meeting is not yet.
Oh, thank you. Mm.
So, you want to hear one more?
Yes, please.
So this one, it starts with the line, "He it is." It's the only one I have a little guitar on. And at the end of it, Tagore ends it in a natural way, and I'm sure it's fine just the way he did it. But for me, musically, the way it came out, I repeat "He it is" 3 times. Enchantment upon these eyes, and joyfully plays on the chords of my heart in very cadence of pleasure and pain. Weaves the web of this Maya in present hues of gold and silver, blue and green, and glistening clouds from the folds his feet, at whose touch I forget myself. And ages pass, and my heart in your name, many other eyes, many other joy and of sorrow.
Thank you so much, Telly.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
When did you do those?
I think I wrote those about 1983.
Oh,
I was a Sufi at the time. I was living at the Sufi Center in Washington, D.C. And I just hit a strain of inspiration. And anyway,
lovely. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Well, one of the poems I was going to read was one of the ones you did, so I'm going to skip that and just.
Which one was it?
It was the one about the stringing your instrument and unstringing your instrument. It's so beautiful, about the lamp being lit. Yeah, I really love that poem. Yeah.
You can read.
I'm going to skip that one, and which is amazing because he wrote over 100 poems in that collection. But this is one. You know, he wrote some poems that were devotional poems to God, and then he wrote some poems that were really about his country and what he thought was happening. And I thought some of that was relevant for us today, so I'm going to read some of those. And this one is called "Where the Mind Is Without Fear." Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. We needed to do that one today, didn't we? This one is called Free Love. By all means, they try to hold me secure who love me in this world. But it is otherwise with thy love, which is greater than theirs, and thou keepest me free. Lest I forget them, they never venture to leave me alone. But day passes by day, and thou art not seen. If I call not thee in prayer, if I keep thee not in my heart, thy love for me still waits for my love. And these are from the Gitanjali. This is my prayer to thee, Lord. Strike at the root in my heart. Give me the strength to lightly bear my joys and sorrows. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend on my knees before insolent might. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles. And give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will with love. This one is called The Little Flute. These remind me of that beautiful Gaelic saying that all poetry is prayer. Thou hast made me endless, such is your pleasure. This frail vessel you empty again and again and fill ever again with fresh life. This little flute of a reed thou hast carried over hill and over dale and hast breathed life through its melodies. At the immortal touch of your hands, my little heart loses its limits in joy and gives birth to utterance ineffable. Your gifts come to me only on these very small hands of mine. Ages pass and still thou pourest, and still there is room to fill. So I think we're actually, I don't know how this happened, but we're actually kind of near the end of our time. I wanted to share, then we're going to pass over to Ferishte to have this wonderful person you mentioned read, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A. But I wanted to share this line that when Tagore died in 1941 at the age of 80, as words of his death spread, many around the world paused and reflected on his own words about death, which were that death is not extinguishing the light. It is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. I love so much that he said that.
Sweet.
Yeah. So first, dear, I'm going to pass it over to you if you'd like to share this.
Yes, the
Music.
video. Tracy, I put you as host because my internet was sketchy. So if you would go under participants
Okay.
and hover over my name and make me co-host.
I don't know how to do that. How would I do that? I'm over your name and
Well, go to the right of my name and you see a little thing called more.
oh,
And it says make me co-host.
I never knew how to do this. It's done.
And then one more step.
Okay.
Go under security down below.
Yeah.
And then click on share screen.
Okay.
All right, now I'm able to share screen.
Oh, I learned something new today.
Okay, this is a song by Misha. I think you will enjoy if you haven't heard it before. Is it coming through okay, the sound?
Images are coming through, but the sound's not coming through.
All right, I had to check. Share computer sound. All right, here we go.
Silent steps, he comes, ever comes. You know that in each and every age he comes, ever comes. Haven't you seen his lovely eyes? They're pools of love. They shine with the light of our dear God. They're stars, suns, flames of love. The sweet sound of his name unites all joy and pain, and the sparks of our lives join as one in his flame. Haven't you heard his silent steps in your heart? He comes, ever comes. Hear in the sound of his sweet name, he comes, ever comes. Ba 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 ba, meher ba 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 ba, meher ba ba. Ba 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 ba. the sparks of our lives join as one in his play. Haven't you heard his silent call of love that burns within? Releasing the fragrance our lives contain. His love, his light, come again. Baba, Baba, Meher Baba, Baba, Meher Baba. Baba, Baba, Meher Baba, Baba, Meher Baba. Meher Baba, with joy we sing your name. Radiant living word, forever the same. Haven't you heard his silent steps in your heart? He comes, ever comes. Hear in the sound of his sweet name. He comes, comes, ever comes. Baba, Baba, Meher Baba, Baba, Meher Baba. 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 Baba, Baba, Meher Baba, Baba, Meher
Who was singing on that?
Misha Gutenberg. Rutenberg.
Was that Kathy Riley singing with him?
I don't think so. I think that was done with the Sufis.
Oh,
It was a super choir.
that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have some time for Q&A. If anybody wants to make any comments or ask any questions, feel free to unmic yourself and
I think Baba is going to have the last word here.
thank you so much, everybody, for sharing what you shared, that we were able to do this collectively. And I'm so glad to that the Dolly is his collection of devotional poetry. So for those of you who want to really listen to his, to read his devotional poetry, that is this where you would go. If you would like to read more, I'm gonna personally go get a copy of it, but I can read more of his devotional work.
Thank you, Tracy, for providing the space. It's gorgeous. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, everyone. Jay Baba, thank
Oh,
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. That was really, really
Jay
nice.
Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you
This
so
is Mary in New York City. Thank you. It really made my evening so rich. Thank you so much.
Being with us. Jay Baba.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Jack.
Okay.
Bye, Tay. Bye, Telly. Thank you, Telly, so
Bye.
much. Thank you, Parrish Tay.
Yeah, beautiful music.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Betty, thank you.
Baba.
Jay Baba.
Jay Baba.
Jay Baba.